Hey there, welcome to LC Yoga. My name is Laura, and today we're doing a quick 15-minute hip stretch. So if you're ready, get on your mat or any piece of floor will do, and I'll meet you there. We're just going to jump right in. So go ahead and come down on your knees and come forward, stepping your right foot forward into a lunge in between your hands. So your left knee is on the ground and press into your right foot and come on up, placing your hands on your right thigh. And come up as far as you need to. We're really just looking to stretch the front of the hip on the left-hand side. So start to lean into that, pressing your hip forward. So press that left hip forward. You should feel a nice stretch in your hip flexor. And just lean into that. And you can stay up as high or go as low as you like. Just kind of use your front foot as a brake to kind of figure out where do you need to be to get the best stretch. Doesn't matter what it looks like. It's all about how it feels. So kind of sink into that. If you want to add the arms, just feel free to raise them on up. Maybe cactus arms, get a nice shoulder stretch at the same time, continuing to press that left hip forward. Breathe and let it open. Arms can be up. You can move them if you want to do some sort of sweeping your arms up overhead and then cactus them down. You'll open up your trap muscles in the back and the front of the shoulders. Or feel free to stay still. If you want to hang out with your hands on the front thigh, that works too. I'm just going to be here for another couple of breaths. And if you feel that hip start to open, feel free to lean in a little bit more. Last breath here, and then come on up. And then let the toes come up. We're just going to stretch into the back of the right leg while we're here in a half split. So the hips start to pull back, toes go up toward the sky, knee can be bent, and just start to pull your hip back and away from your planted front heel. Couple of breaths. We're not super warmed up here, so we're just using sort of long poses and the breath to open up. And then lean forward just so you can plant the hands and bring your knees back together. Kind of sit back on the heels. And we're just going to rock forward and do the same thing on the left side. So left foot comes in between the hands this time. Back knee is lowered. Come on up. Hands to the thigh. Pressing the right hip forward this time. So you're getting a nice stretch in the psoas, hip flexor. And then choose your own arm adventure. So you can leave your hands right where they are. You can bring your hands to the lower back this time maybe. Let the chest go up and away from the back toes as they press into the ground. A little back bend. Or you can do those moving arms. Keep opening the shoulders. All that sitting we do, keep all that tension in our hips and our shoulders. So why not work on those at the same time? Multitasking. Keep pressing forward. Let the breath be long and deep, and that's to sort of bring your attention to the sensation you feel in the hip and move forward or back depending on what you feel. All right. It doesn't have to be the world's deepest stretch. It's just about sensation. So if you feel it, you're doing it. Couple more big breaths here. Then come on forward and we'll just pull the hips back, let the left toes come up. We'll take that half split. Sort of counter stretching what we were just doing. the crown of the head go forward toward the front of the mat or whatever wall is in front of you. Deep breath, pulling the hip back, left heel is planted. Knee can be as bent as it needs to be. And then rock forward, come back to the heels. And this time we're going to come forward again, but we're going to take lizard pose. So step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. So this is a bit of a deeper stretch, getting more into the right hip as well as the front of that left hip. So here, if you want to grab some cushions, if this feels too deep for you, just go ahead and place your hands on something, or you can rest your elbows on your front thigh. What you're really trying to do is just sink into the hips. Just let them sink down. So you can hang out here with straight arms. If this doesn't feel like much, you can start to bend the elbows, coming all the way down to the ground if that feels good. If it doesn't, back right up out of it. Maybe rock back and forth a little, letting those tissues release, and open that right hip. Big breath. Maybe try breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. So as you breathe in, inflate that right hip. So imagine that hip just inflating with breath, and as you exhale, release that. So every breath, your hip gets more and more release. Couple more breaths. We'll walk the hands up. If we were on the elbows, bring both knees back together and sink back into a child's pose. And then we'll rock it forward and left foot to the outside of the left hand. Same. So we're just sinking down. Elbows can be up like this. Just letting that hip just sink as much as it can. We don't want any pain or pinching, just stretching. So if you feel a stretch, you're there. The only reason to come forward is if you don't feel much. So it doesn't matter what it looks like. It's just if I don't feel like this is doing enough, then I need to move forward. Now my left hip always tends to be tighter than my right. We're all made differently, so you really have to pay attention. And this time I'm going to stay up higher and rock back and forth and just let that open up before I try to go any further. Move around as you see fit. Maybe one elbow comes down, maybe both. You can even flex that foot and rock to the outside of that edge of the foot, letting your knee wing out to the side, and that'll change the stretch a bit. Deep, long breaths. Now this time, walk the hands back up, shift the hips back, curl the back toes under, and press into both feet and turn toward the right. So you're in a wide-legged stance. Now bend into the knees fairly deeply and start to fold forward. So you're hinging from your hips. And then start to straighten the legs. So then you do that by tilting the tailbone up toward the sky. And again, we're not really warmed up here, so it doesn't have to be the deepest stretch. It's not what you're going for. You just want to open the backs of the legs a bit. So keep those knees bent and breathe. And then walk the hands forward a little bit so they're under your shoulders. And bend into the right knee just enough so that you feel a stretch in the inner left thigh. Try to hit the hips from all angles. So breathe into that in the side lunge. And then come on back to center and take that on over to the other side. Just bend into the left knee just enough so you feel a stretch. And then come back to center. Now from here, if you want to continue forward folding, if you feel like that's what you need, go right ahead. If your knees are feeling good, we're going to come all the way into Skandasana. So bending into the right knee, walk the hands over toward it. We're coming all the way down so the hip comes really close to the heel. Now your heel can be off the ground or on the ground. Left toes up to the sky. Hands in prayer if you like, or maybe the left or the right hand out to the right and your left arm up to the sky. And also bring that behind the head. This covers a lot of real estate, kind of opening the left leg, the right hip, and the side waist on the left side. Turn the heart up toward the sky. Deep breaths. And then place the hands on the ground and we'll walk it over to the other side. So same thing, bending into the left leg, right toes come up, hip comes to the heel, close to it. Maybe the heel comes to the ground, maybe not. Place your hands where you feel good. Maybe you want a shoulder stretch, left hand goes out to the left, right arm up. Maybe behind the head. Take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, and relax your jaw. And then we're just going to sit down. Easy peasy. Next we'll take Baddha Konasana, or butterfly. We'll bring the bottoms of the feet together, knees out to the side. And just kind of rock the hips. We're going to take a long-legged butterfly here. So that means we're going to keep the feet kind of far away from the hips. But you can adjust just so it feels good. And place the fingertips behind and press the chest forward. Kind of awesome posture there. Just press the chest forward, long spine. And just start to breathe into that. If that doesn't feel like much, that's when you bring the hands forward. You can rock the hips so you're tilting the pelvis forward. Keep pressing the chest forward. You don't really want to round like this. I mean, you can if you want, and it feels good on the spine. But I find that kind of pulls the back. So I always press chest forward. Keeps my spine nice and long. And I get a better hip stretch, and that's what I'm after today. And with every breath, you'll find you go a little deeper into the pose, not because you're pressing into it, but just because gravity is doing its thing. Just close the eyes. Deep breath. With every breath, inflate the hips and then deflate. And when you're ready, kind of walk the hands up. Bring the feet out in front. Maybe shake them out a little bit. Place your feet on the floor about maybe 2.5 feet apart and just windshield wipe the knees. Just like gym class, elementary school. Just to counter stretch that a little bit. And then come into a comfortable seat. Simple cross-legged, half lotus, whatever feels good on the knees. And we'll just close it out. Nice 15-minute stretch. Maybe a little side stretching. I feel like we need a little here. So place your right hand down. Again, place your hand behind your head. Start to lean toward the left. Turn your heart up to the sky. Nice side stretch in there. Open the outer upper hip. One more big breath. We'll take that to the other side. Left hand down, right hand behind the head, bend the left elbow, drop your right hip down. And then come on back to center. Place your left hand on your right knee, right fingertip tips behind, lift the chest and twist toward the right. And then take that over to the left. And come back to center. Feeling open. I hope you are too. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining me. If you enjoyed today's class, come find me over on lcyoga.com. There you'll find all kinds of content that doesn't exist here on YouTube. With a 30-day free trial, you'll find commercial-free complete beginner series, intermediate flows, workshops, at-home retreats, challenges, lots of stuff to help you grow and expand your practice. So start your 30-day free trial at lcyoga.com and I'll see you there.